the Survival and Basic Badass Podcast after show. So, we like to try and do this if we have a time, but we always look for like interesting topics, interesting stories going on, or we don't want to just waste anybody's time, right? We know we all trying to run the homestead and get out and do good things. But
especially on our weekends, you don't got so many projects to do, man. That honey-do list is growing faster than you can get it done.
But so let's jump into it. So there's some good stories come across this week. What do you got, Kevin?
Yeah, so there's one story about a hiker, Tiffany Slatton, that I was reading about. She was doing a solo hike through the Sierra Nevada, I guess the Sierra Mountains. I'm not sure if it was California or Nevada, but it was she was doing a 3-day solo hike, and at one point she fell off of the damn mountain, and she broke one of her legs and dislocated her knee, and so she relocated her knee, she splintered her leg, and I guess she's a permaculturist, and by trade, and she's an archery coach. So she's, what do they call it, a pre-Olympian, planning on going to the Olympics for archery. It seems like kind of a badass.
Does sound like a badass.
Yeah, she ended up being out there for 3 weeks in thick snow, and she was survived off of just foraging stuff that she could find.
Holy crap,
melting snow to drink. And she ended up hiking out and finding a cabin up at an old ski resort.
So she had to heal basically before she could hike out, or do we know what
she hiked out on the broken leg and
but I mean, did she? Why did it take 24 hours or 24 days? Do we know?
Well, she was in the middle of nowhere to begin with, and she was at the bottom of a mountain that was in the middle of nowhere.
She was hiking with a broken leg.
And she was hiking with a broken leg, right? And phone wouldn't work. There was no phone service. At one point, GPS told her that there is a coffee shop, 18 miles away, but it couldn't get her any, contact with anybody.
Oh, wow.
And so they said
she have ordered a latte and had whatever
had it delivered. Yeah. No, but she wasn't able to get any cell phone service up there, and she ended up holding up in an old cabin, and was finally found when somebody came in there to start preparations for spring and start opening things up, and said he saw shoes outside the front door and was like, oh shit, and said she popped her head out and came running over to him hobbling on her leg,
Wow.
But after she got some actual medical attention, she was able to get back to her home in Georgia.
Dude, if you're badass enough that you can forage for 24 days with a broken leg,
you're in the mountains in snow. You know what I mean? She's foraging in snow weather.
Right. That's where always well, foraging is good, but the winter time, you gotta have so easy plan. And apparently that, or maybe she found cans of long-term food storage. And, I don't know.
She said she was boiling leeks and survived basically off of that.
Yeah, roots are the big thing, like root vegetables and things that that you can eat. It helps. All right, so I don't know. I saw Slowburn made a comment in the last episode here about that his grandma used to say, if it's petty, don't sweat it. If it's sweaty, don't pet it. Now, when I was in the Navy, I was kind of told the exact opposite. They always said, don't sweat the petty things, pet the sweaty things. So, maybe it's a grandma versus a sailor guy kind of difference. So I can't be
good
sure.
Old grandma always coming with the solid advice,
right? Grandma's solid. But maybe the Navy with the it's a crazy world. I don't know. Tariffs are slowly getting sorted out, I guess. I don't know. RFK seems to be stepping up the crazy and going a little off the rails.
But I mean, he was crazy to start with. We all knew that.
And that's not my wife is like, well, the whole family said he was nuts and whatever, but I just thought they were all jerks. And she's like, no, I'm starting to wonder.
Starting to think he is a bit nuts, you know what I mean? Um, so I think RFK, I don't know what the deal is, like swimming, him and his family swimming in a creek that's full of sewage, but I mean, this is America. All creeks are full of sewage.
Yeah,
That's not
what are you
really the
gonna do,
one
right?
that, I
Exactly.
saw all these articles about how crazy it was, but if
Right,
you
but
went swimming in a stream, you probably were
you
swimming in
went in
sewage.
sewage, right,
Yeah.
and I mean, I saw Caddyshack. I know what happens in these public pools. They're not
Yep.
much better.
No, they're
Um,
not.
and slow, yeah, no, I'm gonna have to give it to you. Most of the grandmas, man, they all come from a harder generation, I think.
Mhm.
I definitely, think there's some great things there, but, you know, a lot of lessons that could have been learned. You know, I always think it's so funny because people are like, "Yeah, we're gonna go back to the 1800s," and that's what they're saying. It's not gonna be like the 1800s because in the 1800s, people knew about how to deal with things without
How to
power.
survive, right. People knew
We
how to
don't
do that.
know how to do
Mhm.
that. I mean, we might
And
kinda.
they
I
were
still don't have
preparing
the
because they lived on a farm that sustained themselves, you know?
right.
Now we live in the suburbs, you don't even have enough property to do that.
Exactly. I don't have the knowledge that Slow Burn's grandma does. You know, I mean,
Mhm.
that's the bottom line. I think I do. You know, I have some little tools and tricks that'll get me there and,
Right.
you know, different things. I hope that those things, you know, help maintain. I always used to watch that show Survivor and you see those people go out and whatever. And I only saw it like the first season. So we're talking about like 2000, so like 25 years ago, and I think that stupid show is still going, whatever.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, but I watched it then, and you would see all these people who were like kind of chubby like me come on, and you'd see the fit athletic types.
Mhm.
And like after 2 days, the fit athletic types are all like, oh, I'm gonna
Emaciated and
die.
shit.
I
Yeah.
can't go on. And the fat people are like, what? I don't understand.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I do have some reserves to go on a little bit, you know,
Yeah.
but
Well, I mean, when it does, honestly, when it comes to like not having access to food, you're better off having a a spare tire to run off of a little bit, you know?
no, if you can't move and you can't work and you can't function, that's a whole other problem. I'm
Right.
not
That's
saying
different.
that guy's in good shape.
Yeah, I'm not
If you're
saying
like,
blow
I ain't
yourself up
getting
to
out of the
400
couch.
pounds in prep. Yeah,
I'm good. I'm good
but
for 2 years, you know?
yeah.
Yeah, that's how there was a there's that Richard Simmons, you know, I guess he's passed since now, but he had this show on Sirius Satellite Radio and he used to have all those exercise shows and all that. And he had this show on Sirius and I'd listened to it. And he was talking to a trucker and the guy's like, "Yeah, I weighed 350 something pounds or whatever." And he's like, "I know how to diet and eat good, but I just am not able to." And Richard's like, "No, no, you don't." It's like,
You
no,
don't.
no, you don't. So,
Yeah.
you know, that's
I
how
mean,
it
it
is.
could be. I could see how it could be tricky being a trucker and you're basically eating out.
Right.
You're stopping at restaurants and stuff, and then your job is sitting in one spot and barely moving for hours on a time.
And that stuff kills you. And it's like you are doing hard work. Like it is a mental kind of focus the whole time.
Right. Hmm.
And just, you know, so you have to set up that arm wrestling thing and like
That's
in
right.
Over the
Like
Top.
Over the Top,
Yep.
the worst movie ever made.
Oh,
But
come
I
on.
mean, the only movie I would say it's got to be the best movie about arm wrestling because how many movies are about arm
There.
wrestling?
Oh man. And if
uh,
not still on, you know, and it was because of his technique though, Kevin. It's all
that's the
the hands
technique.
fold over technique. That's how
Uh,
you do it. So anyway, appreciate you guys sticking around. We're happy to do a little extra sometimes. Just want to make sure that we're always delivering good stuff. So there you have it. With that, I'd say stay safe and we will talk to you guys next week.